Well, it seems that there was an injury on last night's NXT. Unfortunately, that rhymed. I'm amazing. Welcome to the NXT podcast review. I am Chopper Pequenell, your Jam That Champion. I'm joined as always by the Wise Man Tempest on these LIW podcasts. Get in your Ultrachats if you have thoughts about this show. And WrestleTalk.com/supports. We're going to go through all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. But yeah, on last night's episode of NXT, it seems there was an injury because I don't know if you saw, Tempest, on the old Twitter machine, you saw Duke Hudson getting called out by Lance Storm, etc., for having a dangerous move last week, doing the Razor's Edge, and he's saying that's going to get concussions and stuff.
Yep.
But that wasn't the thing that got people injured this week. No. Because in the match between Amari Miller and Lash Legend, which I'm reliably informed they were tagging last week, how will they coexist? They had a blow-off match this week, and I'm assuming in the final spot because Amari Miller looked like she was fine before that. You know, a bit groggy and that stuff, but she was definitely on her feet and okay. And then Lash Legend hit her finish, and it seemed like Amari Miller was not okay afterwards because according to a fan video that was taken at the show, she was stretchered out, which is unfortunate for her. You know, speedy recovery to Amari Miller if this is, you know, serious, or even if it's not, I suppose. Get better soon, Amari Miller. It's just a bit unfortunate, this one. I don't really know what happened, but according to that fan video, she was stretched out. She seemed okay before the final spot, so I'm assuming it's probably that's done it. If this is legit, maybe this is a work to try and sell Lash Legends finish. I don't know. Like, you know, they've done it in the past. They stretched it out Kyle O'Reilly after he took that brainbuster on the steps kind of thing, after he did that amazing sell that had a lot of people worried. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of this, but hopefully Amari Miller's not injured, because I think she's pretty cool.
Fingers crossed. There's a lot to take away from something like this. Also, funnily enough, wasn't even the spot that got Lance Storm tweeting again that something was dangerous.
Nice.
He also did last night, but regarding Valentina Feroz's, she got launched onto Raquel Gonzalez, and it was a big old launch. She got a hell of a lot of air. And if Raquel Gonzalez wasn't good at catching, she might have died. But regardless, it's neither here nor there. Yeah, this was weird because this is Lash Legend's first singles match. This is her singles debut on NXT. And anybody that had heard about her match on 205 Live knows that she's not exactly polished. That's safe to say. And that's not to say that it's any one particular person's fault that an injury takes place. That being said, wait, because you kind of know that someone's green when you're training them and you send them to the ring, and especially when they've already had a match on whatever 205 Live is. I can't say that a match on TV, but you know what I mean. A match for the purposes of viewing eyes. I don't know that I wouldn't put her in the ring with someone a lot more experienced, like the most experienced person on the roster, hopefully. And I understand that you're trying to then book her into a feud with Nikkita Lyons. So she's doing things. You can't just have her do a squash match against Io Shirai or something like that. But again, that's kind of where a more balanced roster just comes into play. You know, if you're doing the same thing, and again, not comparing everything to AEW, but I will. If you do the same sort of thing in AEW and you have people who are really inexperienced, maybe a Jade Cargill or a Hook or people that have not had that many matches, and Anthony Ogogo perhaps, you're not going to see them being put in the ring with people who are also green, with the exception of whatever the last Hook match was. I guess that's a bad example. But the point more so being is you're putting all of these green people in a position to shine. You're not making them do too much. You're not going to make them, extend their limits, just have them go out there, do a very simple match. John Jay in the comments, put her against Dakota Kai. It was a perfect example. Experienced worker, could probably take a loss right now. You put them in the ring with Dakota Kai, and you're going to be fine. But in AEW, that's why you've got people like Matt Sydal and people that can take losses and not be hurt by it. They don't have anyone like that in NXT right now that can take a loss and not like feel it. And if they do, they're like busy with other things, like Dakota Kai's busy with Wendy Choo and such. So I think it's just kind of like a mixture of a particularly weak roster and also a difference in philosophy of how to portray new talent on television.
Yeah. And I'd also say as well that I think if we're going off the comparison to AEW, which we just love doing, I think that, you know, if you saw someone as green as Lash Legend is, generally speaking, they're not going to be on TV that much. I think the one exception is probably Jade Cargill, right? But even she, I don't think is as green as it. Like, she was in training beforehand, you know?
Jade has never been as green as Lash Legend. No. Like, as far as like her appearances on TV, she's never been remotely close to what Lash Legend's experience level is in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so there are differences there for sure, you know, but like I mean, I don't know. It's a developmental show, and I get that that's kind of the point that they keep pushing to people. But at the same time, like, even developmental shows wait until the person's ready to be on TV.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the big thing. Like, just saying that, oh, it's developmental is like, you can't just use that as the wipe the slate clean defense of any bad match that's on the show. Because no, the goal is still to put on like a good show. You want the matches to be good, and you don't want to put people on television that aren't, you know, that are too green for it. Now, granted, at some point you need to have your first TV match, you know, and whether you're 100% ready for that, like in terms of like nerves and showmanship and everything, maybe not. Maybe those are things you can kind of, you know, work on as you go. But in terms of like, yeah, your technique and everything, you should probably be kind of most of the way there in terms of just being like competent and not green. You know, I don't look at Hook and think that he's green. Now, Hook is also a prodigy, but you know what I mean? Like, you take the people to television when they're ready to be on television. You can put them on 205 Live and just have her do matches there and get better with people until then. And that's kind of what those shows are for. The ones that people aren't watching. You know, you don't see matches that go on Dark and then put those exact same matches on Dynamite. That's not what the shows are for. Put shows on NXT, Level Up, or whatever, and just put the matches there until people are ready to be on TV.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well that, you know, people that are put on TV, even if they are green and you want to still include them on NXT, you shouldn't book them to do spots or match parts that they're not comfortable with, you know? And even if it is Lash Legend's finisher or whatever, if she's not got that perfected yet, then she shouldn't be doing it on TV, right? If that, this is still assumption on my part. This is still speculation because I don't know if that's the spot that did hurt Amari Miller, if she is actually injured. But yeah, it feels like if that is the spot, then that should have been something that was more practice, that she should be more experienced doing before it's been brought to TV. That's something that you do in the confines of, you know, a safer environment when you have, you know, the crash pads and things like that, and you refine that move until you can do it properly, and then you bring it to TV kind of thing. If you still want to have her on TV, then don't have her do spots that she's not comfortable doing, you know?
Like, just keep these matches as simple as possible. Everyone loves Hook, and you look at Hook's matches, they are bare bones simple. Because you don't need to complicate things with new wrestlers. You just don't need to do it. You know, have these matches be headlock, drop down, tackle, the whole deal. Headlock, tackle, drop down, hip toss, arm drag, body slam. You know, the typical wrestling formula. You just do stuff like that for your first few matches. You don't need to be doing like intricate spots. It's like, think of every indie wrestler ever that's wrestling their first match at like a gym in front of 20 people. Most of them, if they're being trained well, most of them will just do like a really basic match. You know, a match built around a punch, a match built around a handshake, things that a veteran will be like, hey, we're going to do it really easy. We're going to milk the crowd. We're going to do this, that, the other thing. And we're just going to build it up real slow. You're not going to hit any offense except for like a punch. And then you're going to hit a kick and then you're going to win. That's it. And you just learn how to sell and you learn different things. Maybe they're doing that in training, but those are the type of things that should be done during people's first matches. And honestly, do that on your like level up show. And I don't think we have nearly as many problems as we have with matches like this on TV.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. And I mean, that's kind of like the Young Lion stuff, right? When you kind of just strip away all the character stuff, is like wrestle. You just do the basics of wrestling, get those fundamentals, and then we'll give you a character later. Like, don't worry about anything else, you know? It's that kind of like, that kind of philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone in NXT could also be trained by Shibata and the people in Rocky Romero and Jushin Thunder Liger, I think we'd be in a better place in general. But yes, in theory, the theory is the same.
Yes, exactly. Well, I don't really have much else to say about this. Just don't. If it was her, I'm not blaming her for the spot, but if she is in that spot, then don't book her in that match. That's what I'd say. Anyway. Let's get into some of your Ultra Chats. WrestleTalk.com/support. Get in your Ultra Chats. We'll get into the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. We have one here from Tails Pete that said, even WWE doesn't like Ciampa's new theme. I haven't heard Ciampa's new theme yet because I don't want to, but it's probably bad.
It's generic theme number 13.
Hell yeah, dude.
That one hurt me. I had to watch Raw, and they surprised me with a Tommaso Ciampa theme change. Sickening. It's fine. It's stupid music. I'm trying to be more positive these days, just because whatever. But like, stop.
Yeah,
stop it. I need like a squirt bottle and just like spray Vince McMahon with it anytime he wants to change someone's name or someone's music.
Yeah. AO1012 said Amari Miller's Twitter indicates she's okay. That is good to hear.
Very good news.
Very good. Glad she's all right. Well, I've got one here from Zoe Sung that always does the Pokedex, but I feel like it's been cut off because it just says Hangman Page, the cowboy Pokemon. And that's it. So I'm guessing that got cut off, but hey ho.
Some Pokedex entries are short.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe that's all you need. Thanks, Zoe, for that.
So, no, see, what happens is Zoe is playing Pokemon Legends, and she hasn't caught enough Hangman Pages to fill out the Pokedex entry yet. So once she does that, then we'll have like the full entry, and we can actually read what it says.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that the Pokedex research level is like 7. You're going to need a few more. Yeah. Need to catch a couple, defeat a couple more. Yeah. Sorry, Zoe. Got cut off.
Some of those are hard.
Yeah, man.
Like, and it's not the big ones that I have trouble filling out. It's like Growlithe and Bonsly. I was trying to fill out Bonsley's entry the other day, and because sometimes if the Pokemon is a little bit rare and it's like a small Pokemon, it's not a legendary Pokemon, something crazy like that. You just catch one and you're like, okay, now I'll just fill it out. And the only thing that you can do to fill out more spots is like use Mimic. And I was like, no, I'd rather not. I'd rather catch more Bonsly, but I can't find them because they're rare. Yeah, it's stuff like that. They're just like really hard to fill out. Like the only thing you do with Growlithe is like use Fire Fang or just find more Growlithe, and I can't find anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I saw what was it?
Playing Pokemon.
I saw an article. What was it? Of someone being like, "Oh man, casual players, on the Magikarp one, you have to use Splash a bunch of times if you want to fill it out, and that would take you have to go in loads of battles with different Magikarp so they can use Splash, and that would take so long." And it's like, why don't you just use Splash on your own Magikarp? That'll be done a lot quicker. Why don't you go into a battle with another Magikarp and use your own Magikarp?
Ooh, there's an idea.
And then it's just done. It's just really simple.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just funny to me that when people are like, they exclaim something to be the truth, and they're just like, well, this is obviously the thing, right? And then they're just like, yeah, you didn't think about this, did you? Anyway, well, before we get on to the rest of the show, we've got a little announcement here. All right. Little announcement for everybody. So we're going to be completely open and transparent about this. The NXT podcast, as it is, me and Tempest doing the NXT on a Wednesday. We've been doing this thing for just shy of a year, because it was when NXT went to Tuesdays, which was just after WrestleMania last year, so April last year. And we started it because it was like, okay, NXT is now on its own day. It's not going to be competing with AEW, which means we don't have to do a competing podcast with AEW, because doing the two podcasts in the same day is a bad time for us in terms of like the channel and stuff like that. But NXT is on its own. Yay, we can do that now. Then NXT 2.0 happened. And me and Tempest went, no. So we're not canning the NXT podcast. I already see some people saying that the NXT podcast can be canned. That is not happening. However, it is not going to be me and Tempest doing the NXT podcast from now on. We are going to be handing the reins off to the lovely, amazing duo of SP3 and Sat Niangi, who are amazing, and we love both of them, and we think that they deserve a bit more of a spotlight than they're currently getting. And they're
getting a push.
Yeah, they're getting a push. So don't worry, me and Tempest are still going to be doing the Saturday podcast of the SmackDown and Rampage stuff. So that's still happening. So you can still still have the LAW content that you like. We still have that on the Saturdays. But SB3 and Sat are going to be taking over the NXT podcast. So today is the last LAW NXT podcast. Next week we're gonna have a little bit of a transition period. It's gonna get weird in the next few weeks, because also not only are the hosts going to change, but also the time is going to change. Because SB3 is in America, and because Sat has work during the day on Wednesdays, because he's in the UK, but daytime he has work stuff. So it's actually going to transition to the evening time on Wednesdays with SB3 and Sat. So we're going to have a bit of a transition period for a few weeks here, where we're going to change up the hosts, we're going to change up the times, but we'll keep you guys updated about all of that stuff. So next week, I believe, is going to be Tempest and SP3 doing the show at the same time. This is going to be at the same UK time of 3 p.m. And then I believe, don't quote me on this, and I know Mod Mother's going to be in the chat correcting me, probably, I think the week after, it's going to go to 7 p.m. UK time. And that will be the new time that NXT will be at. It also gets weird because in North America, the clocks change, which means the time difference is different from UK to the next one. So it might be at 6 p.m. to make the time difference right, to make it right for the North American clocks.
Lousy
farmers. You know what? Just stay tuned and we'll have some NXT shows for you, all right? But yes, so it is going to be SB3, who's in the chat right now. Thank you, SB3, for stepping up. Sat and SB3 will be taking over the reins of the NXT podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, by the way, for the nearly year that Tempest and I have done these shows. We would have loved NXT to be good, but it isn't. So all those people who said, just stop watching the show. Hey, we took your advice.
Yeah, congrats, pricks. You get what you wanted.
But Tempest will still be doing his edited NXT reviews that go in the WrestleTalk news episodes. And it's going to be SB3 and Sat doing the podcast on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. time, eventually after this transition period. Because at this point, it feels like Tempest and I's time is better spent elsewhere in the company right now. There's a lot of other projects and things that we're working on, other responsibilities that we have. So the time that we spend watching the show, setting up the streams, actually being on the podcast, aftercare, editing podcasts, all that stuff, we've kind of like delegated a lot of that stuff out now. And now we're taking back the reins even more, as we're going to be handing over the reins to SP3 and Sat. So look forward to that, because they're great and we love them a lot.
Imagine doing this podcast in like 2018. We would have had the best time.
Dude, yeah.
Pick the worst possible time
I know
to make an NXT podcast run, you know,
yeah.
Which
I mean,
we've had a fun time over the last year for sure.
Yeah.
I certainly would have preferred watching NXT at its height compared to NXT 2.0, but what can you do? That's just life. We could have been somehow reviewing NXT Redemption. If you want to go all the way back. It could have gotten real bad if everything existed like back then. You know what I mean? But yes, it's bittersweet. This was our show. This was our little baby, and we're here to hand it off. Our baby's going to college, and it will be in good hands, and that is very important. And I look forward to watching the NXT podcast with our wonderful new co-hosts of SP3 and Sat. Wonderful, wonderful, good eggs. I guess we got to get through the rest of this show, but
we sure do. I'd also just like to point out, Timothy, that you could still cover NXT Level Up. I literally couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah, let's watch NXT UK while we're at it. Although NXT UK has intangibles on it from time to time.
I mean, it's a pretty big draw right there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, go on there. So don't worry. We'll still have me and Tempest on Saturdays for our SmackDown and Rampage stuff. It's just the NXT podcast is going to be changing, but stay tuned for changes. We're going to be posting on like the community tabs and stuff like that for any schedule changes. Keep on today because it's going to be weird the next few weeks because of time changes and also time changes in the world with daylight saving times and all that
lousy
jazz.
Farmers.
I know, right? Bloody farmers. But anyway, let's get into talking about this episode of NXT, which we're probably going to get through quite quickly because I don't have a lot to say. Which started off with Ciampa, Master Ciampa, and Bron Breakker versus the Dirty Dawgs. Ciampa was in a singlet. I don't know how to feel about that. I'll be honest.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I'll be perfectly honest. I saw him come out with the Bron Breakker singlet, and I was like, I feel like you're leaning a little too hard into this.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Did Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode even wear matching gear half the time? I don't know.
Yeah, well. And of course, because what we got announced in the show was a triple threat for the NXT Championship of Breakker versus Ciampa versus Ziggler. Naturally, when there's a Robert Roode right there, Ciampa pins Ziggler.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
I don't understand this show.
No, I don't either.
I don't. Like, I really don't. You know, and it doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter that much. But for this to happen, and then for Dolph Ziggler to immediately go backstage and just be like, well, I'm the number one contender for the NXT title. Says who, Dolph? Yeah. You've won one match in like the last 16 years. You had one singles match in NXT and you won. And now you've lost. You just got pinned. Stop pinning people. This is why I'm not watching this show anymore. Which is not true because I do have to watch this show. I still have to edit this review. No, I don't. But I still have to do this review, Pete. The edited review. This is really just Pete's abandoning me, everyone. Pete didn't want to watch the show anymore.
Hey,
I still have to watch the show.
We both agreed. And also, there's the other bit that we didn't mention earlier of like, this is obviously the least viewed show that we do every single week. And our time is better spent elsewhere in the company where we could be doing other things that make us more money, essentially. There's also that. That's also a factor, all right? But anyway, I'm not abandoning you. We've still got Saturday's Tempest. We're holding on to that, all right?
Every day that I'm watching NXT 2.0, I'll just be thinking about Pete. I'll just be putting pictures
I'll be thinking of you too. Thanks, mate.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet of you.
Yes, but Pete, what happens if Dolph Ziggler wins the title? I used to call him that when I was a small kid. No, I was about to say I wouldn't be against it. I'm against it. I don't want to see Dolph Ziggler as NXT champion.
No, I don't either. This match was fun though. I enjoyed watching this match. It was a bit of fun.
Yeah, this is a fun tag match. I don't agree with the finish.
No, I don't agree with the finish either. Ciampa beat Ziggler pretty clean. Fun little match, but LA Knight cut a promo, which essentially just said like, look how long we've been feuding, and just went back through to be like, look guys, we do long-term storytelling, see? And just went through all the things with Grayson Waller that he's had, and then recapped the restraining order, which is still not how restraining orders work, but that's fine. And he said that next week is going to be... Okay, so correct me on this one, because I didn't watch NXT last week. Tempest.
Lucky you.
I've not gone back and saw what happened on NXT last week.
Yeah.
So last week, Grayson Waller beat LA Knight, is what I'm picking up from this promo. But LA Knight is like, well, I stood tall, so
yeah,
screw it, right?
So what happened last week, because there was a little bit of fun to this.
Okay.
In the sense that LA Knight and Grayson Waller had like, I think it was the opening match on the show. Like there was a promo segment, whatever. And then this was the first match. So already this doesn't feel like the blow off. And I was like, well, this isn't going to have a clean finish. Sure enough, LA Knight goes for his headlock driver finish. And the spot was he was going to do that close to the ropes. And Grayson Waller was going to have his arm over the top rope. And Sanga was going to grab his wrist and like keep him from being pulled down for this finish.
Sure.
Right? Somehow that fairly smooth sounding spot did not go smoothly.
Okay.
And I think it's because grabbing an arm may indeed be too complicated for Sanga. Because this was just like not timed well. It didn't come out looking right. It wasn't a great match. But then afterwards, LA Knight beat down Grayson Waller and was like, I'm going to be the last man standing. Yeah. And now this week, that's basically exactly what he said again, but now they've scheduled a match.
Cool. Anyway.
There's worse ways to get it than with a very funny typo. I will say. Typos bring joy to everyone. Do not feel bad, sir.
Except Andy Datson. He hates typos.
Yeah, well, typos hate Andy Datson.
We then got a promo from Walter, which was nice. And then we got Indy, Hartwell, and Pirotta in the locker room. Sure. And then we got a women's Dusty Classic video promo. Sure. And then we got Wendy Choo and Dakota Kai versus Indy, Hartwell, and Pirotta. And my first note for this is, who or what is Dakota Kai? Because I still don't get it.
I don't know.
Kai and Choo won this match. They can coexist.
They can.
Is Dakota Kai a face now?
Maybe. I don't know. That was kind of my takeaway from this. You know, she'll be a babyface as long as she's trying to team with Wendy Choo.
Sure.
They're a babyface team. But once this immediately falls apart after the tournament, then she'll be a heel again.
Sure. This was all right.
There wasn't much to this, I'll be honest.
No, nothing to say.
It depends on if you like Wendy Choo's comedy, because there's like a lot of spots of her like twirling her pigtails around and stuff like that. You know? It's the same. It activates the same part of my brain as like the Orange Cassidy slow motion kicks.
Sure.
Right? But it's missing the other part of the Orange Cassidy thing that like helps pay that off.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I
thought the finishing sequence was like cool. I like that there wasn't immediate tension between Dakota Kai and Wendy Choo. There was no like blind tag. Oh, why'd you tag? Oh, I was gonna get the pin. Doesn't matter. We still won. We won the match, but I wanted to get the pin. Hate that. That's a nitpick. That's a pet peeve that needs to stop. But regardless, like we just got like, oh, this Wendy Choo hit like a standing Vader bomb type thing off the top rope. Dakota Kai hit the double foot stomp. 1, 2, 3, easy. We get out of it. That's all I want from this because their little interactions are cute. They're fun. I need more of those. It's fun. I expect them to win at least one match. I don't know if they'll make it to the finals against Raquel and Cora Jade. That would be an interesting final match.
Sure.
But considering it's Dakota Kai going up against potentially Raquel Gonzalez on the other side, like I could see it happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. We then got a video promo for Imperium versus the Creed Brothers, which I thought was quite good. They really leaned into that perception versus reality thing for this video promo, but I think it worked. It was nice. It made the tag title match feel like more of a big deal. Made me more excited for it, so that's thumbs up already. I'm looking forward to the match. Should be good fun.
Yeah. In this, I guess we talk about this now. I was very much like surprised that we are all of a sudden getting another special next week.
Yeah, same.
We had people come out last week and talk about, because again, you weren't watching that, but like Braun Breaker and Dolph Ziggler talked about Stand and Deliver and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, WrestleMania weekend, that's going to be the next big show and it's going to be exciting and all that. Not realizing that we're going to have all the title matches next week on the show.
Yep.
At Roadblock. They looked at their catalog of former pay-per-views that got used like once or twice. And they were like, haven't used Roadblock in a while. Let's have Roadblock. NXT Roadblock. And now we're just getting all the matches I thought we were going to get at Stand and Deliver. Like, I thought this tag match was for sure going to happen at Stand and Deliver. Yeah.
I'm quite curious as to what they're going to do for Stand and Deliver, because obviously that's going to be like a proper stadium show for WrestleMania weekend in Dallas. So like it's not in front of the 2.0 crowd. I'm really curious as to what card they're going to put on there and what kind of talent they're going to stack on a card, because you'd think that they wouldn't really want to have a lot of their greener, like more developmental talent featured in the high stuff on a card like that. So I'm curious.
I think the main event is going to be Braun Breaker versus Walter. I think that's the main event.
Damn.
Like, after watching this, I was like, I don't know if we're going to get the Dolph Ziggler singles match at that show anymore. Or if they're going to do, like, maybe Ciampa versus Ziggler or something at that show now. But with...
Ciampa versus Breaker again.
Yeah, also could be. I don't know, because I thought we were going to get Solo Sikoa versus Walter at that show. But no, we got that on this show. So now with people like... Everyone's seemingly getting freed up all at the same time to swap around and move the championship scenes. So I think Braun Breaker might face Walter. He might not. He might face one of the multiple people who's feuding with him now, but that seems like the biggest match that might pack a building for WrestleMania weekend.
It could be Tony D'Angelo.
Could be.
And I do mean that legitimately, because Tony cut a promo on this show being like, hey, I'm going to come for the big fish. It's like, is that Walter? Is that Braun Breaker? We don't know. So... could be someone. Tony D'Angelo versus Walter. Make it happen. We then got Lash Legend versus Amari Miller that we spoke about before. Also, Lash Legend, because I wasn't on last week's show. Lash Legend made her debut last week and lost.
In a tag team with Amari Miller.
Cool.
Debut,
I then wrote in my notes,
breakup, and then first match, all in the span of like 8 days.
Incredible stuff.
Whirlwind.
So I then wrote in my notes that Lash wins. And then I realized what I wrote down and then wrote, my God, her name is Lash Legend. I can't get over that. It's a real bad name.
Yeah. It's a dumb name. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you can say that about just about all the names in NXT. There's a few good ones. Every once in a while, they pull out a gem. Like a Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
It's like Carmelo Hayes is a cool name. I like Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, it's good.
But it's like 1 out of 20 WWE names are good.
Oh, there's one coming up later on this show that I saw and I was like, that's not real. Which I think was on last week's show, which we'll talk about later. But after that we had a Solo Sikoa promo, and then we had Briggs and Jensen being morons.
He's a virgin.
Yeah.
In canon, he's a virgin. That's his character.
Which is like,
yes, it's okay to be virgins.
Yes.
That is okay. Like, it's a natural point of life, and you're going to learn in relationships and all that. I don't want to make fun of people for being virgins.
Yes.
As ridiculous a conversation as this sounds like.
Yes.
I don't quite see the point of trying to push one of your major global superstars and his character, his gimmick is he's a virgin.
Yeah.
He needs to win worst character in the Observer Awards next year. Because my boy Brooks Jensen got shafted with this gimmick.
Sure did.
Absolutely shafted.
They had a thing with Elektra Lopez. They were talking about cars, and then Elektra Lopez, they thought they were talking about women. And then she was like, you wouldn't know what to do with a real woman. And then Brooks Jensen is like, yeah, because I've never been with a real woman. Haha, get wrecked.
Yeah.
But then Tempest, it's okay. I really don't want to talk about that segment anymore. I'll be honest with you. It's stupid. I hate it. We then got
really
Walter versus Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good match.
Yeah.
I thought
like
Walter
this.
was going to lose. I was going to be like, they would too. They would do it.
They would, wouldn't they? Goodness me. Yeah. I thought this was really good stuff, though. And I like that Walter won decisively at the end. Like, Solo got in a lot of offense, looked good against Walter. He looked very strong against him. It was great. Got like some good power spots in, did like a big Samoan drop to him, stuff like that. That was really good. But in the end, Walter tried to choke him out. He got out of it, chopped him in the back of the neck. Amazing. Picked him up, did another sleeper into 2 power bombs, and then pinned him. It was like he had to do a lot to put him away, but he put him away pretty decisively. Like that was pretty much spot on.
Yeah, this was pretty much what you want out of a match like this. And I will say it happens when I watch matches like this that I realize how much I truly appreciate clean finishes. You know, because think of how easily they could have just had Imperium run in for a DQ, and then they build to this match like 3 weeks later, and they do the exact same match, but it doesn't mean as much because we've seen it already. That's just like the WWE way of doing things. But we didn't get that in this match. And honestly, it just felt like Walter is this Goliath, and Solo Sikoa is an up-and-coming, very talented star. It's not like he's a job guy or anything. He's a star, but he's going up against someone who outranks him. And he loses. And you know what? It's okay to lose a match like that. You don't need to protect him or do anything like that. It's okay to lose matches against people that are better than you.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially when it's someone like Walter, where you can very clearly make, it's very clear that he is better and positioned above Solo Sikoa. Yeah. So it's not like a shock that, he beats the guy. Yeah, good stuff. I want more stuff like this because this is like pretty simple pro wrestling, and simple pro wrestling is my favorite pro wrestling.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
After that, we had a promo from Dolph Ziggler, who's interrupted by Tommaso Ciampa, who's interrupted by Braun Breaker. They all get into it and just be like, I'm number one contender. I'm number one contender. I could beat you. I could beat you. And then they have a triple threat next week. Cool.
That's how matches are made.
Yep.
3 dudes bickering backstage.
Persia Pirotta then hugged Duke Hudson, which annoyed Indy Hartwell.
Why is he in the women's locker room? You can't be in there. Get out of there.
Yeah.
I was watching. I was like, well, this is a locker room, and these are women. I don't think Duke Hudson could just walk into the women's locker room. I could be wrong.
Maybe
that happened before in WWE. Maybe entirely bad. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna hold my tongue now. There's a lot of thoughts running through my head. I'm gonna keep to myself.
That makes sense. We then had Harland versus Drako Anthony. Harland won, and then he hugged him afterwards. All right.
I don't care.
No, I could not care less.
Yeah. See, I don't want to psychoanalyze every WWE segment because it does get exhausting. But they really like making these characters that they can write goofy scripts around where the words don't mean anything. Yes. Joe Gacy is Bray Wyatt.
Sure.
Where they say things, they spew words, but none of what they say matters in the grand scheme of a story. You know, like none of what they're saying actually it means anything regarding where they've been, and it doesn't affect where they're going. So they just like having these really wordy characters that talk in funny ways because then they can write different scripts. Figure out what Joe Gacy is doing. What is the point of him and Harland? What are we building towards? We're not building to anything. We're just on a treadmill.
Yep.
I don't care if I'm just watching someone on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We then had.
I like Drako Anthony though. Drako Anthony seems cool.
Great. He's cool. Yeah.
He's the one that's not getting pushed.
So, you might need to explain something to me here, Tempest, because Ivy Nile had a promo with a lady who I didn't know, and I saw later that They were a tag team in the Dusty Classic and they lost, right?
Indeed. Yep.
I then saw her name.
Yep.
And I saw her name was Tatum Paxley.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't anyone have normal names in NXT?
I think this might be the most generate a wrestler name ever.
Right?
That I've seen on TV. Is it Tatum Paxley or Tatum
Paxley?
I'm looking this up. Hang on.
I might have. I did look briefly on the bracket.
I think it's Tatum Maxley, which isn't better, but I just need to know this for it is Tatum Paxley. How about that?
Oh.
Tatum Paxley. Listen, if anyone out there is named Tatum Paxley,
yeah,
I want you to send me a message on Twitter. I just need to know that you exist.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Apparently, she wants in on Diamond Mine now, and I was like, no, you lost us the match. If you want it in, you have to come in the hard way.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, she did lose her the match. And then Ivy Nile choked her out last week. It was kind of neat. I like Ivy Nile a lot.
She's great. Yeah. Tatum Paxley.
Tatum Quaxley.
Now,
that's how you get me to care about this.
I was gonna say, right now that is the name I can get behind.
Hell yeah.
We then had Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade versus Yelisa Leon and Valentina Feroz. That was a big old dive, wasn't it? God damn.
The only thing I remember from this match.
Their offense to the outside looked amazing. It was really good. Dangerous as hell because they got the really narrow walkway now in NXT 2.0, but cool, you know. I don't know if you picked up on this when you watched Tempest. There was someone screaming in the crowd during this match.
I try and not pay attention to things like that because it will drive me nuts.
It did my head in when I was watching. I was like, stop screaming. It was just one person who was just like, as soon as attack happened, whoever, they were just like, yeah, proper high pitched screaming. I was like, just take it down.
Listen, I don't like trying to attack wrestling fans. For anything.
I do.
Go enjoy your shows and all that. That being said, I will wish violence upon you if you are this person at a wrestling show. Because you ruin the experience for everyone around you and also ruin the show for posterity, forever.
Right?
Key example, do you remember the Edge Eddie Guerrero match on SmackDown? They have a no DQ match where Eddie gets DDT'd off a ladder. It's one of the best SmackDown matches ever. It's a legendary match.
I'll take your word for it.
It's a legendary 4.5 star no DQ match on SmackDown. One of the best matches ever. There is a woman through the entire match just screaming, just high pitched. Just a wail, just screaming.
Yeah, that was like this one. It's real bad.
I love that match.
Yeah,
she ruins that match. Ruins it. I have to watch that match on mute if I want to watch it now.
That and Beach Balls. Don't do it.
Yeah,
dumb wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Anyway, Leon and Feroz looked really good in this match. Way better than they've looked before. Bust out some really good offense. I quite liked Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade's chemistry. I thought they looked good as a babyface tag team. Had some good fire. Good stuff. They won. Gonzalez and Jade, as they should.
Yep.
Nice.
I still think it's funny that they went and did endurance training. And I think the longest match of this tournament has gone 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Worth it.
Yep.
Real good. We then had Saray and Tiffany Stratton getting into a thing. Tiffany Stratton didn't like her necklace or whatever.
Sure.
Cool. Tony D'Angelo cut a promo saying he's coming for the big fish. And they're going to be sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah, going to be sleeping with the fishes. Forget about it, cuz.
Yep. Then had Andre Chase versus Von Wagner.
He's got new tights and a vest.
Andre Chase came up with Bodie Hayward, right? I still can't believe that's a name. Bodie Hayward. And Andre's a bit of an idiot in this match because Bodie Hayward gets punched by Von Wagner. And Andre Chase is like, oh my God, are you okay? I can't, Bodie Hayward, are you okay? I just need to like take care of you around. Bodie Hayward's like, dude, get in the match, you idiot. Get back in the ring. What are you doing? Andre Chase is like, I just need to check. I need to check if you're okay. Are you okay? You got punched. I know it's really, really difficult for you right now. I just need to check you're okay. And he got back in the ring. He got beaten up by Von Wagner because of course he did. Idiot.
Can't believe this pro wrestler got punched in the face.
Like, I know, like, babyface is supposed to show empathy in that, right?
Yeah.
But you're also not supposed to be an idiot.
Yeah.
You're being an idiot. He only got punched. It's not like he died, right?
It's fine. You see him get punched, you throw Von Wagner back in the ring, and you go, you okay? And he goes, yes. And then you get back in the ring.
You get back in the ring.
You don't, like, cup his face in your hand. And be like, my student, my prodigy. You can't leave me. I need you. Yeah.
Very good.
As I said, because again, I keep wanting to say, like, as I said in my edited review, as I realize the edited review hasn't come out yet.
Not yet.
I say in there that this is the new NXT 2.0 rivalry that I care the least about. And boy, is it. Boy, is it. Like, the quality of NXT 2.0 is entirely dependent on, like, which wrestlers are in matches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if Boa's in it, probably not having a great week. You know, Von Wagner's wrestling, probably not having a great week. But if you have matches with like Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa and Pete Dunne and like, you know, a good long show with like Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai and whatever, that show's probably going to be pretty all right. But then you get matches like this that I could not care less about.
Real bad. Also, Robert Stone was there. We then got a Nikkita Lyons video promo, and they were like, wow, social media was abuzz after Nikkita Lyons' debut.
Sure was.
I haven't seen it yet because I didn't watch last week's show. Was it good?
The debut.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There really wasn't a whole lot like to talk about. It was a debut squash match, and she won by hitting the splits.
Cool.
Whether that appeals to you or not, I like it's a sports entertainment finisher. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Cool. Then we got the main event.
Hell yeah.
Carmelo Hayes versus Pete Dunne for the North American title.
Good things. I love Carmelo Hayes. He's one of my favorite wrestlers.
He's great.
It's like it's always weird. It's always weird because I don't know if other people do this, but typically when I'm thinking of like my list of like my favorite wrestlers and everything, like, you know, if I'm just like, oh, who's really up there right now? Like, who am I really feeling? Like the Hangman Page, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, things like that. If people go to WWE, I usually just like kick them off the list a little bit, you know? Unless for a long time it was like AJ Styles was the only person who was remotely close.
And Walter, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I watch Walter matches like twice a year on NXT UK takeovers at the time. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But for the sake of like now, I'm watching all these shows. I'm watching WWE a lot more regularly because of these here podcasts. And I'm watching Carmelo Hayes, and I'm like, I think Carmelo Hayes is like right up there with my favorites. Like, he's really good. He's got a good presentation about him. He can cut good promos. He can wrestle really well. He's got like a unique move set. I just really like Carmelo Hayes. And especially considering we seem to have had like a run of like 5 or 6 really bad North American champions in a row. Not the champions themselves were bad, because obviously Swerve and Johnny Gargano were great, but like no one won a match on TV like all year last year. Mm-hmm. I think a North American champion won matches on TV like twice. Yeah. So to see Carmelo Hayes just like go out there and win matches and be a dominant champion, and like you can kind of make the argument that this title is the A title, given the amount of good title defenses he's having now. Like, it's not, because it's not the NXT championship, But in the same way that like the Bret Hart Intercontinental Championship was the cool championship when Hulk Hogan is still champion, Carmelo Hayes is doing pretty well as North American champion, I must say. Like, he's a really, really good mid-card, upper mid-card champion. I really like that. He should be NXT champion. Have him lose the belt, have him beat Braun Breaker. Boom, there you go.
I was going to say, like, this actually feels like something that's helping elevate Carmelo Hayes that much more. And it's something that he's really taking and making into a legit, like, top title. It's not the NXT title, but it doesn't feel that much lower.
Yeah.
You know? Which is great. That's exactly what it should be, really, for me. It's kind of like that stepping stone before you reach that kind of main event level. Unless you're Braun Breaker, in which case you can just go straight to the main event level, supposedly.
I'm trying to think of who should beat Carmelo Hayes for this title. It depends if he's still going to be there, because, I mean, call them up, for God's sake, it's been too long. Have, like, Santos Escobar win the North American title and free up Carmelo Hayes to be NXT champion.
You could dig that. Yeah,
I think that's fun, because Carmelo Hayes has the benefit of seemingly only working with great workers. Roddy Strong, Cameron Grimes, and now Pete Dunne. Santos Escobar would fit nicely into all that. Of course, they're doing a ladder match, as we later found out at the big show. So maybe someone will beat him for it there. I don't know who. We didn't find out who's going to be in that match, but hey, man, there's options.
Well, they said it was weirdly paced, but sure. After they won, they did a little promo on the ramp, and Carmelo Hayes said at NXT Stand and Deliver, they're gonna do just like how the North American title was founded in its first match. We're gonna do a ladder match, which to me would indicate that they're gonna have a multi-person ladder match rather than.
I would assume like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, totally. So you could have a lot of people going into that match, and you could totally have someone dethrone Carmelo in that one. I think that would be a good way to do it. Can protect Carmelo in defeat, and it allows him to then move up potentially to, after Braun Breaker probably retains at Stand and Deliver, you can have Carmelo immediately move up and be like, I want him for the next one after that, which I think will work really nicely. So yeah, that was the show. That was all right.
It was fine.
The show.
It was just uninteresting,
Yeah.
The main event was fun. There were some good matches, but like, I don't know. I'm looking at the lineup for this show, and the opening match is fun. Like, it's fun. You get the Walter Solo Sikoa match in the middle to kind of tide you over, and then the main event is fun. And there's like 5 matches in the middle there that are like 5 minutes or less. Don't really matter. There's some tournament matches, but like they're just like, they were okay. They weren't too bad, but nothing spectacular. It's tough when you only have when you have 8 matches on a 2-hour show and 6 of them go 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
That's a little bit rough.
Yeah.
You usually see 8 matches on a TV show?
A lot, isn't it?
That seems excessive. I don't know if that's just me looking at the lineup for the first time after a show, because I don't normally do that, but I'm just like, wow, that feels like a lot. I don't know if it was, but I gave it like a 3 out of 5 show. I think it was fine.
Sure. Yeah.
It wasn't offensive.
No. There's nothing overtly bad on this one.
No.
I don't think. It was all right.
No. The Lash Legend match wasn't very good.
It wasn't great. But there was some good stuff on it as well. The thing is, they got the 2 bits that you need to get right the most: the open and the close, and it was good.
Yeah.
So that's
I agree, and I mean, like with NXT 2.0, the things that offend me on this show are like when MSK goes to a bus stop for 5 weeks in a row, and we don't. I feel like we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, or at least they've gotten more palatable. Like the only vignette type things that we've gotten recently were like the Raquel and Cora training montage, and both of those I thought were like cute.
That's fine, yeah, totally.
Yeah, but it's like it's Johnny and Carmelo and everyone going to Dexter Loomis's haunted house. It's the bus stop. It's the Grizzled Young Veterans trying to pickpocket people. Where I'm just like, this is just terrible sketch comedy. I don't know what's less funny, SNL now or NXT 2.0, but they're like battling to see who can come up with worse sketch comedy.
That's good. Don't forget Ika Minjiro taking a shit. That happened.
I did forget about that, Pete.
You're welcome.
You reminded me.
Yep. Also, in answer to the, are we going to do live reactions to Stand and Deliver? Probably not, because it's on the same day as WrestleMania. So we're already stretched thin because we're going to have a bunch of people on the WrestleMania live reactions and stuff like that. So probably not. We'll see, but probably
good place
not.
to end things.
It would have been. Also, I don't want to. So
listen, I don't want to watch a show that starts at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Don't do a matinee or like an early morning NXT show. It's not what the purpose of 2-night WrestleManias was. Fools. The purpose was not to make space for more wrestling.
I know, right? Anyway, let's get into the rest of your Ultra Chats here. Last chance to get those in at WrestleTalk.com/support. Go on here from Eternal Blue that says, I watch Dark and Dark Elevation every week. Free wrestling, you know. Jura Joel is very green. His matches are selling, simple heel heat, smooth basics, and a standard finish. Don't overly complicate things. It makes everyone look better in the long run.
Very well said.
Yes. Tails P said, if he dyed his hair or had different music or wore pants or even just a color other than black, the Gunter name wouldn't bother me as much. It would bother me more.
Yeah. You don't need to change anything.
Why change him Walter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tails P again said, if Raquel Gonzalez is Big Mummy cool, does that make Cora Jade Shawn Michaels or 1-2-3 Kid? I think 1-2-3 is more apt.
Probably. I certainly wouldn't call Cora Jade Shawn Michaels right now.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Not to discredit Cora Jade, but I mean, there's the best ever, and then there's everyone else. I don't think Shawn is the best ever. Let me just put that out there.
No. Zoe Sung has come back in for the Pokedex entry that she tried to do earlier. Hangman Page, the cowboy Pokemon. This Pokemon is hated by Oliver Davis for whatever reason. Seriously, why Ollie? Weed Cat, guys. Weed Cat is so cute. My Hangman process is 10, damn it.
Weed Cat, Sprigatito.
Also, Quaxley. Look at his hat.
Quaxley. We love Quaxley.
We do. Zoe Sun continues to say, but really though, Legends was so good. I haven't yelled at you both about Shinies. Turtwig and Floatzel. Game good. Also playing Cyberpunk. It's really fun. Part 3 of me screaming 2 probably be cut off, I guess.
I'm glad Cyberpunk is like playable now.
Oh, that's good. About time. Like a year later after it came out, right?
Hey, Zoe's got a shiny Floatzel, sounds like. I've got a Weasel. I haven't evolved it yet, but we could have the same shiny.
I got
4 shinies now.
What did I get? I got a Yanma. That's something.
Got a Snorunt, a Magikarp, and a Murkrow in addition to my Weasel.
Nice.
Although the Snorunt is now a Glalie.
I missed the shiny Skuntank. It was an alpha. It did an ouchie to me, and I was like, I need to run.
You ran from a shiny.
I had to. What am I going to do? Die? Yeah. Crazy.
Die for your Pokemon.
Absolutely not. Tenroza said, damn it, Ollie, your news video got me hyped for AEW to buy Ring of Honor. Can't remember when a weekly wrestling show has me this pumped. Oh, wait, it was last week's Dynamite. Sorry, not about NXT, but yeah, kind of excited right now. Can't wait for BTE and Revolution. I am pumped for Revolution.
I'm very pumped for Revolution. And I don't know if this has been announced publicly yet, but I'm going to be on the podcast review for Revolution.
So you are?
Very exciting. And I don't think I've gotten to review an AEW pay-per-view on a podcast yet. That is going to be very fun because I can't imagine that this show is going to be bad. Come now, that's poppycock.
That is. Yeah, I get to review AEW Dynamite tomorrow because Luke is off. So I'm going to be reviewing that with Ollie. So I get to review the Go Home show and you get to review the pay-per-view itself. Nice. Good stuff.
Things are looking up.
Yeah. Tenrose again says, in other news, Tempest, have you seen the new massive LED screen in the Tokyo Dome? I think a big upgrade is coming for the Dome and the surrounds. Also, congrats to Denise on her role at Supercard of Honor. Can't wait to catch up on New Japan this weekend. Hashtag LIW. Yes, massive congrats to Denise. She's awesome.
We love Denise. I haven't seen giant LED screens in the Tokyo Dome. I haven't looked at a lot of New Japan stuff in a while. But once I do, I'll get back around to it. I'm sure it looks good. You know, sure it'll look good.
Eternal Blue, who's been a member for 9 months, says, Memberg, baby. Its name is Losin Tangibles.
Haha.
Good video on PFK, Tempest. You're just so talented and smart. Pete, good to see you.
Thank you. Yes, for anybody who hasn't watched it, go over to partsFUNknown and check out my latest list, the 10 worst Cody Rhodes moments in AEW. Of course, I'm the one who likes Cody Rhodes, and I'm the one that had to do the list of like, this is all the times he was terrible and cured racism and all that.
God damn it. Yeah. The bad one, Jambeard, said, LIW leaving the NXT show now. Make them be the new team to review Raw. No. Well, let's be fair, Raw is currently better than SmackDown from the looks of it. So, no.
Yeah, it was weird. I reviewed Raw this week, and I was like, that was indeed better than SmackDown.
Right? It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe it was just... See, I don't want to get into it. I said the whole thing on the podcast. The WWE shows are better in a vacuum because you go in and you watch the one show, you're not seeing like the week before where you do the same match and then the week after where they do the same match the fourth or fifth time. You're just seeing it the one time. It's like if people watch SmackDown with us, they'd be like, oh, that New Day Los Lotharios match was like really good. And I'd be like, yeah, thanks. I've seen it 4 times. You don't have to watch this every week.
Yeah. Riot DR said, I work from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. EST, so the reviews fit in perfectly for me. I will miss you gents talking about Bron Breakker, the Magical Warrior, and Sanga of the Thunder. See you Saturdays. By the way, my first wrestling match was behind a biker bar. LIW for life. Kerr. Like that one.
Hell yeah. I don't know where Bron Breakker is. Bron Breakker, the Magical Warrior.
Breakker, the Magical Warrior. Go get him.
He's somewhere. He's on my
while
desk.
You're finding that. Denisha Lane said, hey, Pete. We'll make AEW Championship belt. It looks sweet on you as double champ. LA Knight is cool wrestler. What think of last standing match against Grayson Waller next week? But hope you great day today. Stay pumped for life. Tempest, stay positive too.
Thank you. I hope the last man standing match is fun. Those matches are kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, they are. Hopefully bells and whistles. Hopefully I'll make it good. I just feel that Sanga's going to get involved and it'll be like,
That won't necessarily... I mean, it's Sanga, so that's not a great
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you kind of need more people to, like, keep up action as referees count and people sell and stuff like that.
Totally. Yeah. JS Wooten says, all things end, but I want to thank you two for making Wednesday morning a lot more fun, especially getting any sort of fun discussion out of this ridiculous damn show. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Tempest. Long may LIW reign for life. Thank you very much, JS Wooten.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And that is going to do it for the Ultrachats. And that is going to do it for the final LIW NXT podcast probably ever. I'm not saying definitely, just in case something changes in the wrestling world. You never know, right?
Yeah.
But thank you so much, everyone who's watched these podcasts over the past year. And hopefully you'll give SP3 and Sat a huge warm welcome the next time they're on as well. We're going to have SP3 and Tempest next week. Times are going to change. Hosts are going to change. But we're still doing the NXT podcast. So don't worry about that. If you like NXT, we're still going to be reviewing it. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe. We love you very much. And we'll see you, I guess, on Saturday for more LAW content. Yay.
We'll be back for NX3.
NX3. Oh, God. Please don't. Anyway, where the hell is the end credits thing that I need? Okay, bye, everyone. LAW for life. Bye. Appreciate you. Bye.